Hi, good evening, everyone. This is the No Nonsense Podcast, Season 2. We are this evening very glad to have on the show a guest who has so much knowledge to impart upon us. The creative brains behind the Moon Tea channel on YouTube, and also someone who has a substantial presence on other social media outlets. So, without further ado, we should dive right into it. We are very glad to have um, the um, the creator of many skits and many great ideas on YouTube and elsewhere. Welcome this evening. We also obviously have Oscar with us. So, without further ado, let's jump right into a great conversation. How is everyone this evening?
Can't
All good.
complain.
All good. You really gassed me up there. I'm not that important, but thank you. I appreciate it. But yes, I am Munti. I have I'm not really that famous. But Instagram, Twitter, I guess, and join my Discord server. Haha. But other than that, I'm just a another girl on the internet. That's all. That's all. Thank you, though. I appreciate the introduction you gave me.
You're more famous than I
Leave
am.
it
How
to
about
leave it
that?
to Naeem to add a little extra to people when he introduces
It's
guests.
great. It's great.
I wish I had that.
So, we're all here, obviously, using platforms such as YouTube to, direct conversations with our audience and see what folks um, are interested in hearing what we have to say and what we could help in providing perspective to others all around this vast world. Because it's one thing to walk down the city block and run into someone and they might have questions, say, for example, for me about my blindness or my background as an Arab Muslim American who is a proud advocate for blindness, disability, and other civil rights matters, and folks always asking about my journey. And it's really cool how the internet has served, YouTube, for example, has served to kind of be that avenue of communication because we're not always running into people on, the city blocks, say in downtown DC or NYC or wherever you might be. So it is cool to have platforms such as YouTube that kind of serve that role. And before we got on air, we were kind of talking about what YouTube and other platforms has meant to us so far, and where we are identifying motivation points, where we are identifying disincentive points, and so on. So, one thing I would raise, and I don't know, Oscar and Munti, how y'all will respond to this, is the vast wealth of knowledge and content that is available on platforms such as YouTube, and how having established a foothold on such platforms is rather important to being able to be the creator or peddler, if you will, of new ideas in whatever content sector we're talking. I have a deep passion for the niche of politics and policy making and organizing, mobilizing, activism, movement, stuff like that. Oscar, for example, has a niche in a niche interest in sports. I know others might have niche interests in entertainment. But with, for example, YouTube, right, it is a platform that has become rather saturated
Yeah.
with ideas. And if you are someone who hasn't already started to establish your foothold, it's not that the train has left the station, but there are so many people who have already kind of created their space on YouTube, and being able to offer something unique has been, at least for me, kind of a creativity mental block that I have been running into using YouTube. Pair that with the incentive structure not being as positively incentivizing as it used to be way back when, for example, and other platforms such as TikTok serving to be
The main.
more effective platforms to get your voice out there and cast a wider net to a greater audience. It has become hard really to do the YouTube thing, and at least for me that has served unfortunately to be a demotivator, and this is part of my reason as to why I have disappeared from No Nonsense for quite a while. Felt the need to articulate that this demotivation hopefully has faded away so I could dive right in and provide us a robust new season. I don't know, Oscar or Munti, whether y'all feel the same way with your channels or y'all keep on chugging along. What are your thoughts?
Munti, you can, since you're our guest, you can go first.
All right. So, the reason my YouTube channel is fucking dead. But it's been 2 years since I uploaded, so you can tell that again I'm just not motivated to upload. But my reasoning personally is because of time and like the the technical part to it. But if I had like a better computer and I had time, I would absolutely be enjoying the process of making YouTube videos and putting them up. I never saw YouTube as a way to make money, but that
Mhm.
again, not everybody is like that. There's a
No.
lot of people that go into YouTube and want to make it something monetary, which is
Mhm.
fine. You know,
Mhm.
that there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I personally love YouTube as a way of just fucking around. It is just it's a hobby and I love and it makes me want to create more. One of my I say my YouTubers because I'm fucking obsessed with YouTube, but someone that I watch all the time is Markiplier. I don't know if you know this. Markiplier. What he always says is that one of the reasons why he always makes videos is because he loves the process and he loves making things on YouTube. And I really admire that. He's like my role model. And um, maybe one day if I, for get a better setup than this ghetto ass laptop that I have, I will absolutely get back into YouTube for myself. It's not something again monetary or it's
Yeah.
not something like I'm not trying to turn it into a job. Some people do
No.
it. That is absolutely up to them. For me, it's a hobby and something, a way to express myself. That's how I would phrase it.
I will
Yeah.
interject and I'll hand it back to you, Oscar, right
Go ahead.
afterwards.
Yeah,
That
go ahead.
the monetary incentive is kind of secondary. Our channel, at least No Nonsense, and then my personal channel, never gained enough traction to become monetarily viable. But I do think that, at a certain point, uh, using a platform to get your voice out there, if you are investing so much time into the content creation and then the editing and processing and uploading and doing all that, there should be a in my personal opinion, a lower threshold by which folks could monetize, or at least a higher threshold by which folks' content could, get out into the world. And I think the ability to communicate to more people is more so there on Instagram and TikTok. I would say especially TikTok, where what one might get 15 views on YouTube for, one could get 500 views on TikTok.
500, 1,000. Sheesh.
Yeah, I mean TikTok really does have a way of getting your content out there and pushing your content. Now I don't have any data on how much of that pushing is due to any type of bots or stuff like that, but the numerical value of how much you get out on TikTok is comparatively much better than that on YouTube. And I would say the same applies to Instagram to a certain degree, with a certain type of content for Instagram.
Munti, you're the Instagram expert on that because I use Instagram, but I don't know how well it works.
And I don't really use it that much. I just kind of scroll through and
You just
like
scroll through and you
my
don't
friend
post.
stuff. That's really it.
Yeah, you don't post to see how it.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But like, um, uh, the way you look at it, you look at the numbers and stuff, Naeem. I don't. I literally could not give a fuck about how many people watch my videos.
But
But
you
that's
just
just
want to
me
get
again.
just want to get your
I mean,
thoughts.
again, I view it as a hobby.
Yeah.
There are people that we know,
Mhm.
unfortunately, that
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, does that mean the quality of their content is reduced?
it's not reduced. I feel like they just put too much pressure on themselves to put out an outstanding video, and then when it doesn't go well, they disappoint themselves. Like me personally, um I view it like what Muti said. I view it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Whenever I get a chance to film, like if I like, for example, for those that do sports, unfortunately, you have to post right then and there because you don't want the news to get old.
Yeah.
But you
Same
have
would
to
apply
make
for
it. What
politics.
I also don't. What I find it so hard is that you got to find a way to be your own person. Like don't because there's a lot of guys, a lot of people out there that say the same thing, but they have their own little way of saying it.
Personality.
Yeah, personality. And that's the one thing that I struggle with, finding the personality, finding the creativeness. Like I'm like, man, like what thumbnails do they use and all that other stuff to be as successful? Like that's what gets to me also. Um, even if it's a hobby, but like when I get like 20 people, I'm like 20 views, and I'm like, man, gotta figure out how to do better.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why I just
Um,
hop onto TikTok, because TikTok you do get more people watching.
that's true.
You get
I
more
don't
people,
use
more
TikTok.
likes.
That's just me though. That's
My family has been like, I remember my family like all of last year. They were like, you should post your stuff on TikTok. I'm like, uh, I don't, because here's the thing for us blind folk,
mm,
wasn't the best. Um,
Accessibility, yeah, is
accessibility
not fully
wise,
there.
it's not
damn.
fully there. So I was telling them like, it won't let me post and things like that, and they were like, but don't post your sports stuff. Post about your personal stuff, and that's something that's not me. I'm not the
Mm,
one to like post about my personal life.
right.
Um,
It's not for
but
everyone, of
yeah,
course.
it's not for me like at all. So like, maybe during the sports podcasts or during this podcast, you will dive into like personal aspects, but like to go out of my way and say this is what I did as a blind person, or there's on TikTok especially, I'm coming across a lot of blind folk that do already do that. So because they're like, we see it, why don't you just, I'm like, no, because I want to break them, like I don't want to fall in that same like molding
Using your
category.
life to
Yeah.
find clicks and hearts and all the likes, not hearts, likes and everything. Clout, there's a lot of people that do a lot for clout, and I don't know. I personally don't would not fall into that kind of rabbit hole because a lot of people start to attach their self-esteem to likes. They start to view like, oh, this video didn't do well, I have to change everything just to
Yeah.
get a few more likes, and like they start becoming obsessed, and it's
Mhm.
It could
sad,
be mentally draining, yeah.
honestly.
It could become
Hmm.
toxic.
That's why I've kind of steered away from like kind of like doing long videos. Like I've actually changed a lot. Like I don't go 14 minutes, because I used to say longer is better, but now like my videos now on my own thing is like 7 minutes or less. Like I just wrap up, like I just come in, I don't even give an introduction or anything. I don't say like or subscribe, nothing. Like I don't say anything of that. um I'll probably say it like at the very end, but I don't even
Hmm.
like that. It's hit or miss. I'm like, because people don't, I don't just. I'm like, whatever. I know that people are gonna watch my shit.
I will add
And also, what irks me is that when people like, this is what bugs me, and I don't know if this would bug you, Naeem.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people, this is, and I talked to our mutual friend as well, that he's come across this when he's posted on TikTok and YouTube, which I guess we got to get a little bit better with saying, or like maybe bring it up like maybe once in a while, is that a lot of people don't know that, we're blind. So like a lot of comments that come in, they're like, "What up with your eyes?" Like literally.
Oh, that's awkward.
Or they get or they send the eye emoji. They put the eyes emoji on the. I'm like,
No. They don't
Well,
realize they're making. Oh no.
well, one of the original motivators for the No Nonsense channel was to actually, at least a motivator for me. I don't know, Oscar, if you kind of felt the same way. And this is kind of my approach in a lot of facets of my life is I am open and willing to make it clear that I am blind if the context is appropriate and it could serve to be, if a personal life example or personal life experience of mine could serve to be a lesson, a learning opportunity for someone else, then I am willing to articulate, the context of my blindness. And so for me, with No Nonsense, I also kind of intended that to be a way to find, subtle approaches to articulating how I do things, maybe on a daily basis, for example, vis-a-vis my blindness, as it compares to, say, someone sighted who might do the same exact trivial thing throughout the day, and not really think twice about it. But I would have to strategize and problem solve and take in a different approach to tackling whatever that trivial task of the day might be, in a way that others who are sighted might not even stop to think about.
true.
I forgot to turn on my light earlier before we started filming, and I thought, oh, I could be seen, right? And found out pretty quickly that all everyone got was a black screen.
Don't worry, you're not the
It's all
only one.
good.
Sometimes I forget to do that,
It's all
especially when
good.
I'm doing live streams. Like sometimes I'm like midstream, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to turn my light.
Oh,
They gotta
no.
they gotta they'll grab the light and then get back on this, get back onto the stream.
Again, at least people don't be watching and posting, "Hey, we can't see." I'd be
That's
like,
when you
I'd be
just
the
make
dude
up
who
that
like,
there's
so
some
can't I
technical
can't either, so
difficulty.
join the club.
Yeah, well, just make up something like, hey, there's a technical difficulty. Let me go check that camera out. Turn to the back and be like, hey, team, is there anything wrong with the camera? When there really isn't a team or a camera issue, but kind of use that as an excuse. Um, no, just go with the flow type of thing. So, we all have had our fair share of using social media to get ideas out, thoughts out, and also to use kind of as a hobby or a passion project. Do any of us want to talk about what those passion projects intend to be? I know for me, for example, I used YouTube for like probably one video, but I was really passionate about cultural exchange and cultural dialogue between the Levantine Arab communities who have moved to different parts of Central and South America, and how they have integrated themselves into Latin American society and what the outcomes have been as a result. That was something I was very passionate about. And I did such deep and extensive research. And then coincidentally, an opportunity arose where I was able to use that knowledge and that research and create a presentation, and decided to build on it unintentionally, right? And make it into a passion project that I could then put out, package and put out into the world for others to consume and benefit from. What was the original impetus, if you will, Munti and Oscar, for your forays into social media I don't know if I call it social media influence. I'm pretty sure Munti and Oscar are way ahead of me
Oh
in the
man.
influencer category. But
I hear
social media
influencer and I want to run
presence.
away.
I won't use clout. That has kind of more of a negative context. But what inspired your forays into social media?
Do you want to go first, Oscar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'll go first. Or-
Yeah.
Okay. So, social media. Mostly because I am lonely. I just wanted to find friends most of it. That's I think that's one of the major reasons people make social media. It's just like I want to have a community and feel like I belong somewhere. And I did find something like that. I uh, phew, with my channel, and then when I back in the day in like 2017, man, can you believe that was like years ago?
7 years.
7 years ago. Wow.
Oh man, I feel so
Life
old.
flies.
Oh my god.
Oh, back when I was in Nova.
Oh my lord. I can't. So yeah, back in the day, I joined a Discord server, and within it was an animation Discord server, and from there on I joined other communities and I made lifelong friends on that platform. And I think social media could be a very good thing where you can find your place where you belong, especially if you're an introvert and you don't like talking to people. And it's fun. You can feel like you're yourself, even though there's a screen in front of you, um, and there's distance between you and your friends. You can be yourself.
I find it easier to be behind the screen than in person, honestly.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people will feel the same way as that. Of course, there's also the bad part of social media, and there's the restrictions of like kids getting onto social media, and that's a whole other fiasco. Like, I worry about the future generations when the iPad kids, the memes about the iPad kids, growing up with the Subway Surfer, and I just I have a baby niece, and she's going to be growing up in this generation, and I really hope she doesn't grow up looking at Instagram models and then feeling self-conscious, or she starts comparing herself to people that are more living luxurious lives. There's all kinds of people on YouTube. There's like, I bought a 10,000 million fucking mansion and all that shit. Like,
yeah. I mean, and how much of that money is actually like, long-term financial stability and security versus you may have gotten one massive windfall, one massive payout, and once you burn through that money, you're kind of out in the cold,
Pretty much. Or you could just rent a place and just say that you own it and then just leave.
There are so many people who even just rent the Lambo for like
right, exactly
15-minute video,
Yeah. Oh man.
I lock myself up in my room. I'd be like, don't disturb.
yeah. It's I think the internet is a very beautiful and unique thing, but also it has brought a lot of bad into the world. There's a lot of pros and cons to it.
It is really hard to know how, at least for me, how I view kind of social media and the greater global context, and how it has served positive and negative manifestations both. I mean, we had the very intense not going to really get into the politics of it, but the very intense Capitol Hill hearings where Mark Zuckerberg and the CEO of TikTok and the other social media, I think the Discord CEO maybe, and the Snapchat or the Snap CEO, were all kind of sat down and grilled by senators such as Josh Hawley, and roasted about how their platforms have served to cause greater mental health disparities among especially younger girls.
yeah.
Kind of Munti, what
Yeah.
you elaborated on a little earlier. It's like lots of young ladies, preteen, early teen young ladies who kind of just go through their feed and it's just full of Instagram models or folks who filter out everything using Snap
Pretty
or
much.
stuff like that, and then they start to gauge their own beauty comparatively to that of others, and
It's really
it
sad.
has resulted in a spike, unfortunately, in suicide. And
Yeah.
it has been very bad. I think some states have talked about putting an age limit of like 16 or something on social media use, but I mean, like, even then it doesn't really address the root cause.
No.
Yeah.
And the algorithm, what the algorithm does really to keep on serving up that content and reinforcing in a young brain
Yeah, because
that there are beautiful people out there.
yeah, because like what people can do on YouTube, I don't know if it happens now, but or if it's still in place now. But I remember when I was under 18, when like I wasn't able to watch. There was like restrictions, like, oh, you can't watch this because you're not over 17 or 18. Now people are getting, smart, like more smart by the day, and they're like, oh well, I can create a fake account so that way I can watch this, that's
Well, and
blocked.
even that, a lot of those age restricted videos are age restricted because of explicit content. But there are lots of ways where things that aren't all that explicit could still reinforce insecurities, right?
Yeah.
You may have a modestly enough dressed model, but she still has plenty of filters to make sure her face looks flawless, to make sure her smile looks flawless, to make sure her eyes are flawless. And you know then it comes out looking like a very real picture,
Yeah.
especially with the massive improvements in AI in the past couple of years.
Oh, AI is a
um,
whole other subject.
I mean, look, there was a time when an AI generated photo was very obviously AI generated. It
Yeah,
looked fake. Now
that's
the
true.
AI generated photos are almost real looking.
It's really crazy. It's kind of freaky. I don't know. I don't know
Cringy.
how I feel about it.
And then, please pardon me for bringing this up, but there have been plenty of uh, deep fake porns, for example, that have been developed of
Oh
certain
boy.
celebrities, and
Yeah. Yeah.
things that they themselves have never done. But like, if you have enough video content or photo content of these individuals, because they're public figures anyway,
Yeah.
you could montage it until you make some very compromising looking video that is all AI generated, but you're kind of, and if they could do that to celebrities, who's to say there aren't bullies in middle school or high school doing that to folks they decide to pick on,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
It's gonna
creating a
become
fake.
more accessible. It's gonna become more easy to bully
Yeah.
kids. It's kind of sad, man.
Really
Oh
is.
man.
But then there are the positives, right? I mean,
Yeah. Well,
let's
yeah,
make
yeah,
let's make sure we don't rain on the social media parade too hard now. I mean, the reality of the situation is, I myself am of Palestinian origin, and
hmm
with the genocide that is transpiring in my homeland right now, and in the Gaza Strip, for example, that's something that I don't think any established Western media outlets would openly talk about. So lots of people in, say, the United States, Europe, and other Israel-aligned nations um, won't necessarily receive a lot of that news content if it wasn't for social media kind of just like pushing out the raw videos of the gruesome happenings. And there has
It's
been a
spreading
lot of
awareness for sure.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
there's been a lot of traction on
hmm
this issue in a way that hasn't been in previous outbursts of violence, because the issue goes as far back as 1948, and there were flare-ups all along the way: 48, 67, 73, 87, 2000, 2004, 2002, 2004, 2005, 2006. There was 2008, 2009. There was 2014, 2021. I skipped 2012. So all these times it was kind of just like the established media organizations were filtering out what was broadcast in
They're
someone's.
still kind of doing it too. Like
They
they're kind
still
of
are,
pushing-
but to a
yeah,
lesser success. If
that's
you will,
true. Yeah, that's
it's
true.
kind their attempts are falling flat and are only kind of getting to the ears of the people who are still watching them, which is
Yeah.
probably like
Mhm.
65 and older. Most of those people have already kind of formed their opinions on the conflict, for example. But I bring that up not to go from negative to talking positive, but also bringing up a horror that is unfolding. But this has shifted the discourse. Social media has shifted the discourse in a
Mhm.
way we wouldn't have expected. Same with the Arab Spring of 2011. Same with the recent protests and crackdown of protests following elections in many countries: Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia. Indonesia less so, because I think the majority of the population seemed to be okay with the election results. But I think Guinea and Senegal, right? Internet is now a tool that governments use to kind of hinder speech. I think Vladimir Putin in Russia, for example, used
Oh wow.
an internet outage at the time of Alexei Navalny's funeral to make sure that it doesn't spread virally over social media. So it's
Mm.
interesting to see how social media is even instilling fear in some of the world's most powerful people.
Oh man. Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
that goes into it.
social media, man.
Social media, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Blessing and curse.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I mean,
Anything
I
lighter to
met.
talk about? Anything, something with more brevity? Maybe food? I don't know.
I mean,
Travel. Have any of y'all been traveling? I know post COVID, not everyone's gotten a chance to do that.
I'm
Yeah, I
not
mean,
much of a travel
you've been
person.
in you were in Bangladesh, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. During like before COVID and during COVID and a
Oh,
little
did you get stuck there? Was it one of those situations where you were there right when COVID kind of locked down?
pretty much. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
is Bangladesh your home country?
Indeed, it is. Yes, I was born in America though, so I'm
You
a
were born here. I see.
yeah, I'm from Burgerland, but I'm also from Bangladesh. Yeah,
You're from Burgerland, I like.
America, America. You know,
So
we love
Dhaka or
America.
somewhere else?
Hmm.
Dhaka or somewhere else in the country?
Kulna. Yeah,
Okay. That's
yeah.
in the east, right?
I think
It's
it's in the south. I think somewhere
in
in
the
the south.
south, yeah. Because Bangladesh is kind of shaped in a way where the eastern part of the country kind of juts out to the south. That's kind of where you get to
Yeah,
the
it's a
Myanmar
weird
Burma
ass
border.
country.
Not too far is where Cox's Bazar is.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
hearing there have been some environmental concerns over there.
I mean, honestly, Bangladesh is always like on fire, so it's not really much new. It's a third world country,
It's going through the
yeah,
process of industrialization that
yeah,
places
yeah.
like Europe went through 100 years ago.
Looks like
And
what El Salvador is doing, or what Central parts of Central America are doing now.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and the
Wow.
reality of the situation is that that process comes with plenty of pollution, plenty of air pollution,
Yep.
and but hopefully if things progress swiftly enough, right? Not to rush the process, but if things progress swiftly enough, third world economies, emerging economies could develop to a stage where they don't have to rely on industrial manufacturing and production as much, and could
Yeah.
move away from economic sectors that pollute the air.
Climate change, another great subject.
I know, right? I thought we were going to
Oh
go to
man.
something more lighthearted.
Polar bears dying, ice caps are dying. Well,
Yeah, they're all
melting.
melting. Yeah.
Collapsing or melting.
There were some massive fires blowing through Texas over the past week.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, and
The forest fires in Canada.
Oh my
Oh, those were pretty
lord.
bad.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
British
that was
Columbia got
awful.
real hot. They had a heat wave. Was this last summer or the
Oh
summer
my
before?
god.
And there was
We're all gonna die.
They're saying Venice is gonna sink soon.
over
Folks
here
are
was
talking
just
about Miami
interesting.
sinking.
Bro, this is one hell of
This
a
podcast, this
episode.
podcast came
Very
real
dystopian.
fast.
It's fine. You know what? It's reality, right? It's all good.
So, highlights from most recent travel. Let's find something positive. So, Munti, you're in Bangladesh. What was the highlight of being back home?
Oh man.
The food, right? The food is better there.
Uh, honestly, it was a miserable time. Oh my god, I'm sorry for bringing down the mood again, but like, yeah, it wasn't. It like the scenery was nice, I guess, if you ignore all the mud and the cow poop. Um,
And the cow poop.
there's you have no idea in the countryside. There are cows everywhere. They're
Oh no, I
pooping
believe
on-
it. No, I
Oh
believe it.
yeah,
El Salvador.
I think I stepped in
Yeah.
it once, and I was absolutely horrified.
Oh, I feel bad for you because I've been there.
Oh God.
Do
Oh
you
yeah.
do you fluently speak Bangla, right?
Yeah.
Language? Yeah. Do you fluently speak Bangla?
A little bit, here and there.
You
Yeah.
have enough to get by.
Yeah, pretty much.
Enough to communicate that. Okay, where's the nearest shop so I can get my shoes clean? I just
Yeah.
stepped in
Where's the
cow
bathroom?
shit.
I need to take a shit. That kind of shit. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that, but yeah. Yeah. Bangladesh it's a quaint little country. It hopefully gets better over the years, and I just personally, it's a mixed kind of experience that I had over there, but the people there, they all treat you like family. I'll say, like, if you're Bengali, immediately you're seen as like a very close with them kind of, and I always appreciated that, because in America you're just like hi, hello, politeness, but like,
How long did it take you to
you know,
adapt? Because I know that you were there for like what, 3 years, 2 years? Something
yeah,
like that?
pretty much 2
Oh,
years.
you really did get stuck there, huh?
Yep, yep. I was, yep. Um, but yeah, people, what was I saying? Fucking, like, oh yeah. So like, if you mention like, yes, I am Bengali, like even Bengalis in America, if they ask you, hey, are you Bengali? And you say yes, they will immediately, like, their whole demeanor changes, and they treat you like very close, and like they can trust you. And it's similar in my country as well. Like, yeah.
Naeem, I know you've had that experience because I know that Arabs are kind of the same way.
Yeah. So I have found running into Arabs in Arab countries and even outside of Arab countries
Mhm.
kind of results in you finding yourself at their home and you never even knew them before, and all of a sudden they're like laying out a whole spread.
That's
And you're like,
amazing. And getting some tea
you're
for you.
amazing, but here in America we don't do much of that, so I don't know how to respond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I had that experience even when I was in Greece. And,
Oh wow.
it's not necessarily an Arab country, but ran into some Arabs who definitely took me under their wing.
That's really
The
nice.
same thing when I spent time in Turkey and Istanbul.
You've been everywhere, bro.
I know, right?
I barely went
The
anywhere.
furthest I've gone is Hawaii.
Hawaii is beautiful.
I got stranded once too.
Oh my god.
I
What?
know. Yeah. So,
Story time with
his
Oscar.
family and I, like my family and his
Uh-huh.
family went like to the same island or coincidentally around the same time. So then I was like, "Hey, you want to meet up?" So we finished our excursions with our own families earlier that day. Did not know that that transportation would be shitty at night,
Uh-oh.
and it was early night too. Because I was like, "All right, dude, I think I should head back to my Airbnb or wherever we're staying at." Like it wasn't
It
even
was like
late.
9:30.
It was like
wasn't that late.
9:30.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, cool. So I order my Uber, and like it's taking forever to process the wait, and I'm like, hello. I'm like still, and it's like 15 minutes. I'm like still waiting. Then it finally gets. I'm like, oh sweet, got me someone. And then it declined. They're like, the next one's yours. I'm like, oh my god. So then I just check another app. No dice. By the time we look up, it's 11 p.m. I'm like, dude, it's 11 p.m. and I still haven't gotten a ride home.
Oh my god. Olivia.
So like, we're trying to figure this out. By
We're
the
both
time,
at this point. We're both opening all our transportation apps.
Oh
And
my
we're all
god.
ordering to see which one of us is gonna get a car first.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying everything,
we're
and then
trying
we ask about
everything.
the
By the
public
time we figure
taxi
that, by the time we
systems.
look up, it's already 1 a.m. And then he's like, all right, man, I gotta go because I have an appointment that I can't miss. And I'm like, dang it. So I'm like sitting here. I sit in the lobby of the hotel. I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
this is sad. And then like I call my family because my family's like, because they went out to do their own thing, I guess.
Right.
But they were exhausted because what we did was we woke up early because our excursion was actually snorkeling.
Oh,
So
fun. Okay.
but we had it was an early rise. We had to like wake up at 6 a.m. to get to the
No,
dock,
I'm
the dock at like 7 on the dot.
Jesus. I can't do that.
So like they were
Mhm.
all tired because I reached out to them. I called them. I was like, because I was gonna tell them, I'm like, I'm stranded, and they're like, but like they were all out. Like I
Damn.
didn't like by this time it's like 1 a.m. and I'm like, all right. So I guess I get the urge to just stand up and I guess walk around because the chairs that I was sitting on were kind of uncomfortable. Like, and then I guess like one of the employees were like, "What are you looking for?" And I was like, I wasn't really looking for anything until I was like, you know what? I was like,
Taxi.
I'm looking for valet because we went to the valet stand also to ask if there were like any taxis available. Yes, I was desperate to use good old taxi.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Even even taxi wasn't unavailable. I was sad and depressed. I was like, I'm miles away from home.
Damn. Oh my god.
So I was like, valet. So then they took me to the valet stand, and I guess they wanted to stick with me for I guess any other reason. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
a second something comes open. Can you guys please let me know whenever it opens? Like whenever the first ride is available. And like the employee was like, where do you need to go? And I was like, um, my Airbnb. And they were like, where is that? And I'm like, I pull up because I didn't know anything, and I don't know where anything was in what Big Island, Hawaii.
Yeah.
Big Island.
What's the Kona Island? Kona.
Well, yeah. You were in Kailua Kona, on the island of Hawaii. It's actually the natives literally just call that island Hawaii, but
Yeah.
Americans, and of course they colonized and then took it over, they called it the Big Island because we're so
Oh,
creative, right? This was the biggest of the islands, so we're just gonna call it the Big Island.
nice.
And then we called the whole state Hawaii. There was like
Yeah.
a
So then
loss in translation or
so then they
something.
were like the worker was like
Mm-hmm.
I'll take you, and I was like,
Oh,
are you
that's so
sure?
nice.
Are you sure? It's a complete stranger taking me home. I was like,
You don't want to end up on
I
the
hit
side of the
him up.
road
I
somewhere.
hit him up, and I hit him up. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm going home with some randos right now, and he's like, is that a smart play? And I'm like, if it's smart or not, I'll let you know, but I gotta get home. We're back
At
to my.
least you're here, you know? You didn't lose a
Oh
kidney or
yeah,
anything.
alive. That's a
I
good
didn't get
thing.
home until 2 a.m.
Oh man,
The
that's
craziest
crazy.
thing is the night before I had a different transportation experience. I went down to Ili'i Drive in Kailua Kona, with my family. We were checking the place out, getting some good food, having a good time, and we were planning on taking the public transit back at 10. It was supposed to leave Kailua Kona around like 10:25, 10:30 in the evening. So we get back to the Target where the bus is supposed to pick up, this like sketch looking parking lot of a Target, right? It's a Sunday night, so no one's around. It's like 9 p.m. So like we got here early, so we just have time to kill. And we're sitting here waiting for the bus and having time to kill. Tell me why at like 10:20, someone in my family noticed that across the street there was another sign. So were we supposed to go across the street to catch the bus back in the direction of our hotel in Waikalua? Or were we supposed to stay on this side of the street where the bus already dropped us off? Now, in most big cities, in the public transit, the way public transit works is the bus that goes in one direction goes across the street from the bus that goes in the other direction.
I see.
So I decided to pipe up and offer my 2 cents. I regret this really bad later, but I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. Across the street should be the bus that we need going back. As we're going across,
oh no,
none of us hear the bus, and that's the irony of it. It's a quiet sounding bus. The bus is going past us, and you don't even need to go across. By the way, when we got across, we found out that sign just said no parking.
Oh no!
It wasn't even that important.
It gave me
missed,
SpongeBob vibes when he kept on missing the bus.
Oh yeah, we tried to holler at him and he wouldn't stop. He just kept on driving.
Dang.
And we were like, oh no, because this was the last bus. This is a Sunday night. It's super quiet.
Oh, no.
It's like 10:30 at night. You're in a Target parking lot.
Oh my god.
And then this like dude, this I don't know, maybe because it was night. He probably wasn't a sketchy person, but I just default went into skepticism mode. He approaches on some like, yeah, I'm waiting for the bus. Do you know when the next bus comes? And we're like, well, the bus just left now. And so he claimed he was local, but he seemed like he had no knowledge of when the bus comes. So I don't know. For me, that just rubbed me the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
So I luckily I have a second language I speak fluently, so I could say something without others really understanding. I tell my family in Arabic, I'm like, let's just go across the street to where the Target is and order an Uber from there, because I get bad vibes from this guy. And I don't know, he probably was a good guy for all I knew, but it was 10:30 at night and he was asking odd questions for someone who claimed to be a local. And why did he pop up after the bus left? It could have just been he missed the bus himself. You know, he was in the same position we were in, but it just, for whatever reason, 10:30 at night on a Sunday, it rubbed me the wrong way.
No
we went across, and right when we went across to order the Uber, a whole bunch of like dudes in trucks pull up with like blasting loud music, and we're all like, oh my gosh, is there gonna be like a drug trade right now or something? Why are these people pulling up in the parking lot? Like, what's about to go down? Let's get the hell out of here. And we order the Uber, and it took only like 2 or 3 minutes for the Uber to come.
Wow.
Which is ironic because that was much quicker. This is why the next night when Oscar ran into his issue, I was surprised. I was like, oh no, last night was a Sunday night.
No.
So why was Sunday night easier to get an Uber than Monday night? But anyway.
Oh my God.
But it was the most terrifying couple of minutes of my life. And that could just be because I went into like adrenaline mode or overdrive. And maybe I read too deeply into everything that was happening at the same time. For all I know, they were probably just a whole bunch of friends just hanging out in their cars and talking, yelling at each other through the windows for whatever reason, because I guess they find that entertaining. I don't know. But
Moonty,
that's really ironic.
Do you have any interesting stories?
Other than walking through cow poop in Bangladesh?
I mean, yeah. Well,
you're like, there was that too.
Travel stories. I mean, I don't know. I fucking in Bangladesh, I didn't really do much. I just like sat around and stuff. I guess I could talk about my insect adventures, I guess.
Oh Lord, what happened there?
Okay, immediately like dread. So Bangladesh is very insect infested.
Yeah, it's got a tropical climate, no?
Yep. unfortunately.
Well, it also
And
leads to some of the tastiest fruit growing too. So
that's true. Their mangoes are they're pretty good.
they beat whatever we have here.
Yeah, in that case, yeah. So um the countryside is a lot more intense when it comes to insects. The city side, not as much, but there's still like fucking big ass cockroaches running around everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. In the city, I once was going to grab. I always choose my own mug, and I'm like, okay, this is my mug. I'm gonna be drinking from this mug only, and so I was gonna grab my mug, and guess what was inside of it?
Don't tell me there was a cockroach hanging out inside.
It was a huge one. It was so big. And I fucking screamed because I took it up and I was like, I'm gonna, take this to my room. And like, I held it pretty close to my face too. And I looked down and that motherfucker looked back and I was like,
Y'all made eye contact.
I guess so. Yeah. It wasn't the romantic kind. I'll tell you that. Bro, yeah, that shit.
At
I
first
hate
sight.
countries. I hate cockroaches. And I also have developed a fear of praying mantises because of my journey to Bangladesh. This was a different time when I was like a little kid. A praying mantis flew into me,
Whoa.
and right,
Well, I
yeah.
guess I'm not the only one who's blind around here.
Yeah, I don't know. It flew into me, and what made it more traumatic is that my friend, my cousin, and my like a aunt, I guess, or like she's like my older cousin. They both laughed at me. I was crying and like sobbing, and I'm like a little kid, and they were just laughing at
Because
me.
they those things can sting, no?
It didn't hurt. Fortunately, it didn't like grab onto me or anything. I didn't know where it went. But like I was crying and like
Okay, yeah, because I know that praying mantis can sting you.
they have those they when they mate they eat the head of their mate.
Yep.
So romantic.
Females eat the
So
dude.
romantic, yeah. I don't know. They look so menacing too, and like they have big bug eyes, and like, oh, I hate them. I hate them. Um, and like since then, if I ever see one, I run. Like I'm not even like staying there. I'm
I'm surprised we didn't come
and there's a
across any
couple
of
in
them. Remember
Bangladesh.
that
Yeah.
Earth science class I took or whatever it was?
What?
And we had to go on that hike.
Yeah, I
I'm
did.
surprised we didn't come across any of those.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that was
That's true.
peak season for that.
Thank God we didn't come
Then I
across
would have
any.
then I would have and then you would have been running. I'm like, where are you going? I'll be like,
I would have been like, Oscar, look, there's a fucking praying mantis. I'm about to leave you. And then I'll run. I have to first preface it, and then I will run. And there's big ass spiders over there too. Oh my God. I was using the bathroom once, and that's the most vulnerable time
oh,
Yeah.
for a fucking spider to come up to you, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It crawled into my pants.
Oh,
And then it went out of like it went like yeah like it like darted into it and left, right. It was
Okay.
being like harmless. I screamed and started having a mental breakdown in there.
nice.
Oh man, it was big and furry, and then like it was like this
I guess I
baby
know what I'm
spitter.
gonna name this chapter. Insect conversation.
Yeah, no, when you're asking me about travel stories, I'm telling the horror stories.
Yeah. There are plenty of nice stories, but those don't. Those don't
But
I mean, I went to LA and I just had a blast. I'll be like, that was like my happy time.
dang, that sounds like fun. I want to go to LA. That
LA
sounds
is
like
pretty
fun.
nice.
Plan on going
Y'all
back.
be going to Hawaii. Y'all be going to LA. I be going to a third world country for 2 years. Like,
I mean,
what is
I
this?
would like to go back.
If
I
I
would like to
had-
go back home, but I would just need a week for that, and I have to
No, I
build
mean, if
that
I
up
had a
with
connection in
work.
Bangladesh, I would go there in an instant because I am very
I mean, you went. I mean, you went to tell you know you've been to Europe, so
Been to Europe. I've been to
tell us any
Egypt.
Turkey stories. I know you went to Saudi,
Yeah.
um,
Um,
Greece,
Palestine, Jordan.
Palestine, Jordan.
Wow. Traveling all over the world, huh?
Haven't been to Bangladesh, so you got something on me.
My bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I haven't been to Bangladesh, so you got something on me.
I don't know if it's something good.
What
Oh
is
my
the
gosh.
best? What is the best food over there? Because you know people try to replicate foreign cuisine here in the United States, but of course never successfully, or as successfully, right?
Mm-mm.
So I'm pretty sure. I'm assuming you know you're rather familiar, Munti, with Bengali cuisine and culture. Um, Probably aside from your own cooking and your mom's cooking, there's probably no good actual Bengali food here in the United States. So, what was the dish you valued the most when you got back home, and why?
Um, hmm. I don't want to be a hater, but I also don't like Bengali food.
Really, what is it about it that catches you off guard?
It's just rice and curry, and you've been eating it your whole life every single day. You kind
Yeah.
of get a little sick
I can
of
see.
it.
I can see where that can get annoying.
Yeah, and like the
I could still eat hummus as much as I've eaten it in my day.
I'm
Yeah,
a picky eater.
but
That's the thing.
eating
Yeah.
that for like, I challenge you to eat that for like 3 years straight.
God.
3 years straight. I'll tell you what I've been eating for 3 years straight. Olive oil, but that's just in every dish.
That's
So
in every dish,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's
You
used
got
more
us
for
there.
cooking oil here in the U.S.
you know that's the irony of it though. The olive oil that comes all the way from Palestine tastes better over there than it does here, and you're shipping it from the
Y-
same source. I don't know
You're
if
not
over
wrong.
time. Yeah, I don't
I
know if
see.
over time it just doesn't get as good. I don't know if there's any particular products, Oscar from El Salvador or Munti from Bangladesh, that like you could find in a grocery store here in the States, but it's just not as good as when you have it over back home.
Um,
I
hmm,
mean, the
maybe.
chicken is fresh. People cut up their own chickens.
Chicken's
Yeah,
organic, huh?
you're right. You're right. I really like duck. Duck
Duck is
is
good.
so good. I love that
Man,
shit.
you guys have had duck. I haven't had duck.
Have you ever
You
had
got
those duck
it.
pancakes like the style they have in at the higher end authentic Chinese restaurants, the ones with the spring
No,
onion and the little thin pancake, and they put the
no.
duck and then the sweet sauce.
Interesting. It
Yeah,
sounds good.
it is really good.
Never.
Someone's also having a little luxury
Oh,
cuisine too.
sorry. It's just Naeem's also the food connoisseur. So
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, we
All
went from
around the
travel to
world.
food somehow, and then I never told you all my. Well, I have one. I have one Istanbul experience. If you want something, something crazy. When I was in Istanbul, we went to a gentleman who was selling Turkish delights and all kinds of stuff,
Hmm.
and we bought from him a variety of things. Then he started to get like really pushy, right, about like having us buy like the whole store, and we didn't need all them stuff that he was trying to sell to us. Anyway, we paid and left. We were in Greece a little bit before, so we had some euros with us. And the exchange rate between the euros and the Turkish lira is vast. It's like €1. At this time, it was like €1 to 18 Turkish lira or something. So instead
Hmm.
of paying 1,400 lira, you could do the math. We paid 1,400 euros, which is 1,400, I guess, times 18 in lira. So we ended up paying a lot more than we had to. And you know, it was a tourist's mistake. But we went back to the store to see if we could get our share back, and he insisted, the gentleman who we sold it to, that we never gave him euros, and we know we
Oh
gave him
my
euros.
god. Oh my
So
god.
it became a big mess, and we had to
Oh
get the
man.
local tourism police involved, and
Oh
you know
wow.
we managed to get our due share back. We managed to get paid back, but it was just the brazen nature with which someone would just like comfortably scam a tourist and then
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
even be willing to own up to it. Because here's the thing: when we pulled out the euros, all he had to say was, "Oh no, this is more than you're supposed to give me." But he hadn't said that on the first at the first opportunity he had, nor had he said that later on. I mean, nevertheless, we managed to get back what we managed to get back. But there's keep an eye out for scammers anytime you're traveling, especially in big cities.
Oh,
I don't know,
yeah.
does Dhaka have a lot of that? Have you really been to the big city in Bangladesh?
I've been around Dhaka. The thing is, I was never alone. I also
And you never
always
appeared as a tourist because
What
your
money? What money
Bangladesh is
currency
probably
do they
pretty
use
good.
in Bangladesh?
Yeah.
What currencies do they use in Bangladesh?
we call it taka. It's the same thing. This is money. It would so like 100 taka would be like $1. That's how I converted in my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was watching a short the other day on YouTube that was showing me that there are people who get their teeth fixed kind of on the side of the street.
Oh my
And
God.
there was one gentleman who was offering to fix someone's cavity for 400, and that person
Wow.
calculated it as $4.
Literally $4. Yeah.
Yeah, and they said their experience was good. It wasn't a bad experience. So I guess if you want to go get your
By the
teeth
way,
fixed,
Naeem,
go
look
to
at
the
your messages.
go and check the Bangladesh. By the way, I will say, speaking of blinding moments, I never really have my light on in my room. So I got notified by someone in the house. They found it interesting that my light was on and wanted to make sure everything was fine. So I don't know if I thought that would be.
The light is off again, by the way. Just letting you know.
Naeem, you're pitch black.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
Turn your light back on.
Is my light off again?
Yes.
I did not even touch it. How did it turn off?
I don't know.
Someone
That's
must
weird.
have popped in and just swiped it off.
No one was in the room. The room's locked on both ends, unless you could turn it off from the outside. How long has it been off for?
Oh, it just turned off when you I think.
Wow, interesting. When you talk about the lights, it turns itself back off.
No, it's showing it as on now. Here, I'll turn it off. Turn it back on.
Oh, maybe it's your camera. Something happened with your camera.
Oh no, he swiped out of the StreamYard.
That means okay. There you go. Then you could go back to the stream. There you go. We see.
Okay, now I'm back. Okay.
I should have said we could use the private. Oh well, I don't know how to do that with the for Naeem's phone, but I said let's look at the private chat.
The private chat.
Nevertheless, no, like there's when you're live on YouTube, there's the regular chat, and then there's the private chat for you can like communicate with your hosts or your guests.
I see. That's cool.
Huh. I totally blanked out on what we were talking about earlier.
Me
Food
too.
in Bangladesh. Oh no, getting our cavities fixed in Bangladesh.
Oh yeah, that.
I mean, $4 is not bad to get. I bet you they take out wisdom teeth for $6.
I will say I got my ears pierced in Bangladesh while I was staying there for so long. It got infected.
Oh no.
Yeah, so 0 out of 10. I would not do it again over there.
Wow.
Oh man.
You got your ears pierced in Bangladesh and you didn't do it in the US.
Now was this on the side of the street? No, because the cavity the person got filled was on the side of the street.
Oh man. Good luck to that person. Oh, man.
They recorded it in a way where they recorded part of it before and part of it afterwards.
That's crazy.
Edited them together, and in the afterwards part, they claimed it was fine, but maybe they didn't give themselves time to get an infection. God forbid.
Oh God.
Tooth infection is the worst.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
So it seems like travel is something we all should definitely do more of. Where is everyone's next travel spots? That's kind of like a closing question, I guess. Where's everyone trying to go next?
For me,
Yeah, where are you trying to go, Oscar?
Detroit,
Detroit's a nice place.
Ooh, why that? Why that place?
just because of the sports stuff.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Sports.
And yourself, Monty? Oh,
I
sorry,
mean, my family's well, because my grandma.
Uh-huh.
So this is so cool. This is like it was very emotional. So my grandma, who was unfortunately, when my brother was born back in 1999, she came to visit. But I guess because my mom and my dad needed a lot more help, my grandma came back in 2000 and stayed to help, help them out. So my grandma technically raised us
Mm-hmm.
as her own. Um, so with that time, her visa expired and she was never able to go back to El Salvador for 23 years.
23. Oh my God.
Yeah, like she left my uncle over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only time that they would see each other was on like FaceTime. So my mom, who was trying so hard over the last 5-6 years to get like the paper straightened, like the paperwork straightened away, so that way she can get her residency.
Mm-hmm.
It finally came through. So interesting story, and I guess we can close off with this.
Okay.
Um, like my grandma, because we have family up in Connecticut. She went to go spend, I guess, Christmas with them, and my mom actually in the mail got her residency, her green card.
Wow.
Like,
Congrats.
she was like, and my grandma unfortunately was like, man, if she was only here, because my mom was like, I would have taken her this weekend because it came over a Friday. So I would have taken her to this weekend, but no. But she ended up going the following week for New Year's, and she's been over there since. I think she's coming back for a little bit back
Mm-hmm.
here, but it was like very emotional. Like from what I heard, granted I haven't seen the video, but they said that they took a video, like they had like a huge like welcoming committee of like
Aww.
family and friends that haven't seen her for like
That's so
over
sweet.
2 decades. Like my
Wow. I
grandma was
can't
really, really
imagine.
confused. My grandma was like, she looked very lost from what I heard. She was like,
Oh no.
but
But
she also has
mhm.
like family like we have family in like Italy or something like that. It's in the countryside of Italy. So my mom's saying that she wants to take her there like next.
You should
That's
go to
awesome.
Italy.
Yeah.
I mean, my
Yeah. I have some stuff to figure out, and I also have to build enough PTO and and I have to use that PTO wisely. Which
Yeah, no problem.
we
No
got
worries.
to love corporate capitalism, right?
Yeah, woo.
man,
Love,
Holding
love
us back from our
sitting at a
trips to
desk all
Italy.
day.
that.
Holding us back from our trips to Italy. I don't exactly know where I'm going next, but if I had to pick on a world map where I would like to go next, it would actually probably have to be Malta,
Ooh, that's
the
cool.
Mediterranean.
Don't know where that is.
It's a
Me
very
neither.
beautiful island.
I just know it's cool.
Yeah. It's in the Mediterranean. It's
Mhm.
a very windy island, which I like. I like wind
Windy.
myself, and there's a lot of culture. They're a blend of Arab, Italian, other Mediterranean cultures kind of just intersect in
That's
Malta. So
awesome.
yeah, it's got to be cool. And yourself, Monty, where are you trying to go next?
I'll just say Japan.
Japan
my
is a
my
uniquely
weeb
beautiful
ass.
place.
Yeah, it's not this size of the anime aspect. Like I've heard so many good things about Japan, and it's just the people are there are really nice too.
Public
And
transit's great there.
yeah, and like it's beautiful there, and I definitely want to visit there sometime. Yeah, it sounds great, great vacation.
Well, all around the world, from Japan to Malta to Detroit, it sounds like we have travels to make very soon.
Indeed.
And maybe we could sell Oscar on also going to Italy because it's just a beautiful place. They'll
It's
find a
not
way.
up to me, man. It's up to Other things.
If you were gonna say it's up to your boss, I would have made another corporate
No,
capitalism
it's
comment.
it's up to other things. Honestly, I think that because it's Italy, but it's like the countryside of Italy where there's like nothing
Oh no.
from what I hear.
Oh man.
That's the most beautiful part of Italy. The serenity. Serenity, is that a word? Serene.
Where were you when we were discussing countrysides of countries?
Yeah, well, the countryside of Munti's gonna hate me for saying this. The countryside of Bangladesh is way different than the countryside of Italy.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, no, it's true. It's true. In the countryside of Italy, the only thing you're gonna find are vineyards and grapes. You're not
Oh,
gonna
well,
find
at
a lot of cow
you know,
dung. No, but I'm pretty sure the countryside of Bangladesh is beautiful in its own right.
maybe. I mean, it's wild out there, literally.
Wild is good. Wild is good.
I mean, did you spend time like at any of like the oceans and things like that, Moonty, when you were over there? Or
Yeah,
no?
there's plenty of coastline. No.
Yeah, no, the only body of water is like the freaking swampy ass lakes over there that I can like. There's one that's near my grandpa's house, and it's murky, it's
It's not a
salty.
place you necessarily want to swim in unless you're trying to catch some mosquito-borne diseases.
Exactly, exactly.
Or if you want to
Yeah.
have a handshake with an alligator.
Hopefully there's no alligators in there.
You get a second
I
thought.
got her
like,
scared
we
for a
need to
minute.
catch them.
Just a little bit. I had to think about it for a second. There's like big ass like shrimps with like claws and stuff in there. I know that.
Whoa, cool.
I
Well, they
know.
probably taste good if you wanted to saute.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want them nipping at my freaking feet because oh my god, that would be fucking horrifying. But yeah.
Fair enough. You'll eat them, but not have them nip at your feet.
Yes, please.
Anyway, Naim, do our closing and don't forget to post or talk about or whatever.
Yep.
Sure, I guess. I'll talk about our whatever. Very descriptive.
I'm
No,
I'm exhausted. Okay, I had a long day at work.
Fair enough. So it was a pleasure, obviously, having you on, Munti. I hope that you have taken something away from this conversation. I definitely now know that the Bangladesh countryside is a place I want to go, actually. So you have sold me on that. No, I wish I was being sarcastic. I'm actually dead serious.
Go
like
for it,
adventure.
man.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
you'll have
adventure.
a better adventure
Unfortunately,
than
he
me.
is serious. Thanks, Moonty. Thanks for all that.
And I don't know if any of us are walking away from this conversation more inspired to use what social media platforms we have available to us, or maybe less inspired because we talked of all the horrors of social media. But
just stay safe, guys.
Yeah, just be responsible on social media, and you'll be fine. So it was quite a pleasure having you. Closing remarks.
Y'all take care. Remember to take care of yourselves. Drink enough water and remember to eat properly.
No.
Okay.
You sound like our mother now.
I'm just saying some people.
Isn't that what you would say? And I would say no.
You're putting out good advice. You're putting out good vibes, which is needed and nice. So we welcome it regardless.
Thank you.
Links are going to be in the description below for our channels, and if you want to plug anything, feel free. Munti, do you want to plug anything here on air, or do you just want to send links and toss in the description?
Just y'all find my Twitter, my Instagram, Discord server, and my channel, my dead ass channel, if you want to take a look at the cringy ass shit that I made. But yeah,
it's not cringy. It's funny, but very very confusing at the beginning. I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
I'm like, this is not friendly for those who are blind because I have no idea what you were doing.
It's a vibe, I'm just chaotic.
Depending on the setting, I would hear either like crickets or it'll be like silence and you reading something. I'm like, what?
I don't know. I don't know. I was wild back then. Yeah.
Tried things out,
I
and
mean,
that's always
try it
welcome.
again because again, like
Yeah.
it was something different. I'll give you. It was something I've never seen before. So
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I definitely want to make more videos again. Definitely, there's definitely things I want to do and express and put out in the world. Yeah.
There's a lot
anyway,
that we could hopefully put out positive, that
Mhm.
we could hopefully put out into the world. But it was definitely a pleasure having you. We definitely want you back for more
future.
adventures, I guess.
Thank you, thank you.
Once you go to Japan, once I go to Malta, once Oscar goes to Detroit, Italy maybe.
I mean, hey man, I've been restricted to here in Virginia for like the past ever. So the fact that I finally get to travel because I work and can make the funds where I can travel
Mm-hmm.
different places, it's a privilege.
That's
Oh
awesome,
yes,
man.
yes, it is. It's a good privilege, and that's definitely a great thing. I mean, there's nothing but positive to say about that for sure.
Anyway, all right. Closing schedule again. Like I said, like we've said in the past, the way that this works, we're gonna be posting teaser clips as soon as I edit them. So the posting schedule will be hopefully weekends, Fridays, maybe Fridays, but majority Saturday and Sundays. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow on TikTok. Uh, I also will see if I can create a separate um, podcast platform, either Apple Podcast or Anchor or what is it called now?
Spotify.
Spotify. I think Spotify took that over, so
Yeah.
I'll see if I can do that. Until then, that was no nonsense. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.